Professor, on your own opinion, what is your definition of freedom and liberty?
Do I have to have a definition for freedom and a definition for liberty?
Yeah.
Oh, darn. Well, then you could do liberty is freedom from somebody using force against you, freedom from oppression, freedom from government repression, or liberty, I should say. And then freedom we could define as freedom to do something, right? To have the capacity to do something. So if I get an education, I have more freedom because I have more capacity to do things.
Oh, okay. Do you agree that some of the amendments that were made by the government that it gives us our freedom and liberties, but also takes it away?
Yes, I guess. I mean, no freedom is ever absolute. So you can't yell fire in a crowded theater because people might kill each other running to get outside the
Right.
theater. And well, I guess are you talking about the Bill of Rights specifically, or the whole Constitution?
Mostly on the Bill of Rights.
Okay.
Mostly on that.
So, some of them are interpreted in weird ways, like the Second Amendment,
Yeah.
which is the right to bear arms,
Mm-hmm.
which I interpreted as being the right for National Guard to bear arms, because that's really what the amendment says.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that other people interpret it, including a majority on the Supreme Court, is the right of individuals to bear arms. And I think that's a disaster for the country.
Right, and it takes away the freedom in the sense that it takes away other civilians' freedom, where they don't feel safe in public because
Or
they see.
they get
Yeah.
shot, they get killed.
Uh-huh.
It's like the most extreme violation of freedom that there can be.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess in your sense, what are the cons of freedom of speech? It could be about bullying or mass media giving out misinformed information, thus leading a society to.
There's a famous expression that the cure for freedom of speech is more freedom of speech. If you have bullies saying something, you have other people stand up. You have people saying hateful things, you get other people to speak against them. So I'm not sure there are a lot of cons to free speech. I did give you one example that if you could cause some harm by scaring people into stampeding out of a theater, right? But it's really kind of tricky to figure out what the limits on free speech should be.
That's true, because a lot of people can go around it, and they can find
But you always can. If somebody is saying something stupid or harmful or evil, you can always speak out against them.
And that's your freedom as a person, that if they're doing that.
Otherwise, you have to leave it up to the government to figure out who can say
What?
the right thing as opposed to who says the wrong thing. Who knows if the government's correct? The government could be wrong. Maybe it would be better to hear the wrong thing and have somebody then argue against it, and then you would understand why it was the wrong thing.
Do you think it gets a little too, there's like a thin line when it gets to hate groups stating misinformation, like for example, not feminism, like that they're wrong, but I mean some of the things that feminists say can be considered wrong in the opinion of a men's right activist, and then it becomes this whole thing on freedom of speech, and this has happened, that has happened, and men's right activists go back and fire back.
I'm really kind of a libertarian on this. I think the cure for it is more speech.
Just more speech
Not
in
less
general.
speech.
Would you say that it gives us more freedom because the First Amendment gives us more freedom because we can talk, we'll talk back and give our own opinion back, whether it be biased or true or false or anything like that?
Now, you have to take the good with the bad. And if somebody says something biased or false, then hearing somebody else explain why it's biased and false will actually be a very good thing for other people. So the more opinion you get, the more people will understand what's wrong with the biased and the hateful opinions.
Okay,